Welcome to the Drawn Hungry YouTube channel. I'm Jordan, and I created this cozy culinary card game called Drawn Hungry. It's a game where you prepare meals for special occasions. Think Apples to Apples meets Top Chef. Today, we're turning someone's creative culinary pitch into a reality. It's a pitch to plate challenge. Now, before we whisk into today's culinary chaos in the kitchen, do me a favor. Hit that like button like a piñata full of pickles. Subscribe so you don't miss a single belly laugh, and follow me on Instagram at Drawn Hungry for bunny content, silliness, and a little sprinkle of sass. Now, if you want to cook up your own culinary chaos, grab the game that started it all. Get yours at drawnhungry.com. Trust me, it is a tasty good time. All right, let's get into it. All right, today we are going to be preparing a Raddichios Ice Cream Sundae from the episode Raddichios Ice Cream Sundae, episode 16 of the Drawn Hungry Dinner Party. This is kind of a wild one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the original pitch.
I'm gonna make ice cream out of the tomatoes and the radicchio. So two different kinds of ice cream. Tomato ice cream.
Radicchio.
I know. Radicchio ice cream, which I just had some because my friend Lane is the radicchio queen. She's working on a book.
Oh,
and so
I know
they
her.
were making radicchio ice cream recently.
Really?
For the book. So I just got to have it, and believe it or not, it can be delicious. So I'm gonna do that and and the blue cheese from my sandwich. I'm gonna make an ice cream from the blue cheese, an ice cream from the tomatoes, and an ice cream from the radicchio, and have those all situated. And then I'm gonna take these falafel balls and soak them in honey so that they become like honey falafel donuts, and put those in between the ice cream balls. And then I am going to have the toasted pistachios. I'm gonna toast the pistachios.
I was already going there. I was like,
Yes.
pistachios.
And sprinkle those on top, and then make a brittle with the crumbled chips and the smoky coffee. So crumble up the potato chips, mix it with the smoky coffee, and then make a sugar brittle that I break up and top for the ice cream creation. And then to top it all off, I'm going to take this sour cream from the chip dip.
There's a lot of elements in that pitch. For my own sanity and feasibility of getting this done today, we're going to edit that down to just the most essential parts, which is still a lot to get done. There's tomato ice cream, radicchio ice cream, there's blue cheese ice cream. I am still going to do the phyllo bowl container. We're still going to top it with some of those potato chips, make a chili crisp brittle. Oh my goodness. There's a lot, so let's get into the kitchen. All right, let's get into it. This Raddichios Ice Cream Sundae, yum. First, I started by unwrapping a package of store-bought phyllo dough and then just cutting it down into squares. Then I got some foil and shaped it into kind of a donut, maybe more like bialy shaped, if you will. And I used that as a mold to put the phyllo dough over. And then I brushed it with the smoked chili oil as Nikki had presented. The molds created kind of a bowl shape. Then I got that in the oven to bake. Next, I started working on my tomato ice cream. I had all of these cherry tomatoes and I sliced those up to roast in the oven and just burn off some of the moisture in there. I thought that could interact with the ice cream later on. And then I started prepping my radicchio as well as my blue cheese. Now, what I do with the blue cheese is I got it down into smaller bite-sized crumbles, and then I popped that in the freezer to harden up just to make sure it didn't like dissolve into the ice cream base. Speaking of, Here is the ice cream base that I used the Salt and Straw cookbook for. All three of the different ice creams, in there we have sugar, some xanthan gum, we have a little powdered milk going in each one of these. I did basically a half batch of the recipe in the cookbook. Just because we were making 3 ice creams and I really didn't need, a full package, a full serving, if you will, of the radicchio ice cream. So with that, we also put in our milk, a little corn syrup, a little whipping cream in there, and this all goes onto the stove. You warm it up basically until everything gets combined. What I am pouring in here is a mixture of sugar with the xanthan gum. Again, this is just to help thicken it, and the base is delicious. I really enjoyed this base. It was pretty simple to produce. For the radicchio ice cream, went ahead and sauteed that whole head of radicchio with just a little bit of butter, just to get the flavors like a little bit more caramely, if you will. Oh, and here are the filables right out of the oven. My strategy with the radicchio was to, again, just try to get the flavors a little caramely, and then I added in some milk and cream right in with the cooked down radicchio, and then I let it just again continue to simmer. I wanted to extract the flavor of the radicchio into the cream, and then I went ahead and strained that off. So here, I did have 3 batches of ice cream to make that day. I was borrowing a friend's neighbor's ice cream machine, and with the ice cream machines, you're really only able to do 1 batch every 6 hours because you have to freeze the drum. So I did 2 of my batches of ice cream just using the Ziploc bag method, adding a little bit of rock salt with ice into the big bag, and then pouring the base into a smaller bag and just massaging those together, which will eventually turn the base into ice cream. This one here, I believe, is just the plain base for the blue cheese ice cream. So my hand was getting a little cold. I had to switch to a glove, but it worked really great. It worked amazing. So I was able to turn that ice cream base into ice cream, and then I just grabbed some of those blue cheese crumbles and sprinkled them in, mixed it up, and I have my first ice cream done. Next, here is the radicchio base going into the ice cream maker, and give my hands a little bit of a break. We let this run for about 10 minutes, and then here we have some ice cream. Homemade ice cream, you want to get it to that melty ice cream sort of texture where you see the ice crystals forming, and then get that into the freezer to set for a few hours. So next up here, I have my tomato base for the ice cream. This one, I used my immersion blender to blend up all those cherry tomatoes that I had cooked in the oven, and then again, turn that into ice cream. Here, I am making my pistachio and smoked chili oil brittle. So I used just a very basic recipe, sugar, and let that come up to basically a hard crack temperature. If you make, any kind of candy, which I do every year for Christmas, hard crack is just the temperature at which you can cook sugar, and then if you drop it into a thing of water, it'll instantly harden up in a little ball, which is what I use that little cup on the side there for. So, multitasking queen that I am, as soon as I finished up my brittle, I had to get the tomato ice cream base into the ice and start mixing that up. Okay, so here at this point, we have all of our components ready. The smoked chili oil brittle, we have our phyllo dough bowls, we have our radicchio ice cream, our blue cheese ice cream, our tomato ice cream. So now comes time for assembly. As you can see, the ice cream has hardened up nice. I can get a good scoop. It's not all liquidy anymore. And the tomato ice cream. For the brittle, as you can see, it formed up nicely. I just grabbed a few shards, popped them in there, and then topped with the potato chips. Let's see how it tastes.
All right, this is a raddichios ice cream sundae. And let's go ahead and get into it because this was a lot of work today and I'm excited to share with you how everything turned out. It's melting a little bit here right now, so I gotta move fast. We're gonna start by tasting the radicchio ice cream, the star of the show, right? The radicchio ice cream is great. I'm so pleasantly shocked. It takes the best part of radicchio and smooths out a lot of that bitterness that I don't personally love in abundance. In ice cream, it does exactly what it should, and there is a little bit of bitterness at the end, but the floral just pleasantness at the beginning of the taste is totally worth it. It just means you need another bite really quick. Let's go ahead and try this tomato ice cream next. Let's see what's going on here. It does taste like sun-dried tomato ice cream, and not in the best way. This one doesn't work as well as the radicchio for me, and it just has a little bit too much tomato soup vibes in ice cream form, but I like it a lot better than I thought I would. So it's still pretty darn great. So with that, I am going to fall on this sword right here. I'm not a big fan of blue cheese. I think I've made that pretty clear across the internet at this point, but I will do this so you can know exactly how it turned out. All right. Big ol' bite right there. Pretty sure I got some crumbles in there. Let's go. Yep. I kind of like that. Wow. Wild. I think doing the super basic base, no flavor, to go with that blue cheese was the right call. And then because it just mellows out again, those very strong flavors. So holy smokes, did I just like something? Blue cheese? Wildness. All right, I think it's time to try this brittle right here. I did sneak a little something earlier, but let me tell ya, I could snack on this all day. That smoky chili oil, I don't know what Nicky Guerrero puts in there, because oh my goodness, is that just it feels like camping to me. It tastes like a campfire in such a great way. And then just the sweetness from the brittle, the sugary caramelized, amazing. All right, now I think we need to try the phyllo dough bowl. Yes, phyllo dough bowl. Check and see how this turned out. It's store-bought phyllo dough. I don't get a lot of chili crisp. That's fine. You know what? With all the other things that are going on in this, something needs to be not the star of the show. We got a lot of things competing for star of the show here, so not mad at that. And for my final bite, I'm gonna take a little bit of everything all together and see how it works. All the ice creams together, too overwhelming. There's a lot of things battling for my attention. And then the brittle at the end just like annihilates everything, and it's all the chili oil. This is so much better than what I thought I was getting myself into. I've had people teasing me all week about making this gross ice cream sundae, and I gotta tell you, y'all can eat your words, cause like, that's some good stuff. Would you believe that this Raddichios Ice Cream Sundae started as a couple of cards that someone just played in a game? Seriously, this all just started out as some fun around the dinner table. Drawn Hungry turns dinner parties into brainstorming sessions, and sometimes brilliance just bubbles up out of the chaos. If you had fun watching this recipe come to life, just wait until you play it for yourself. You can grab your own copy of Drawn Hungry at drawnhungry.com. It's perfect for dinner parties, game nights, or just spicing up a cozy night in. And remember, hit that button like it's a piñata full of pickles, subscribe so you don't miss a single belly laugh, and until next time, folks, bon appetit.